contradiction, which means to be mutually opposed or inconsistent. I find it a fascinating word. Feminism, the belief that men and women should be treated as equals. Another fascinating word. Both of these words may seem so different, but to me, they go hand in hand. In today's world, feminism is an extremely controversial topic. Feminists are seen as mad women who believe that female is the only true gender and spit on any man who tried to open a door for them. But I don't blame people who don't know the meaning behind this movement, but have this negative idea based on the few encounters they've had with these crazy people. I look down upon people who don't believe in progress. I look down upon those who have the audacity to tell people that they do not deserve to be treated as equals. The first word that I uttered since stepping onto this platform was contradiction. I would like to say something very contradictory. I am a feminist, but I don't want feminism. Now, before you all start to wonder if I really know what I'm talking about, allow me to explain. Feminism is the belief that men and women should be treated as equals. If you do not believe that men and women should be treated as equals, you are sexist. So you're either human or you're sexist. It doesn't matter to what degree. If you see a boy crying and you tell him to man up, you are sexist because boys should be allowed to express their emotions just as much as girls. If you see a girl lifting weights at the gym and you tell her that she's pretty good for a girl, you are sexist. Because if boys can lift weights and if girls can lift weights too, why must you differentiate? So feminism in itself is a paradox. There are an infinite possible paradoxes in feminism, as there are with anything worth believing in. I'd like to speak about one of them. Let's take on the makeup industry. Now, when you look at makeup from one side, it's literally products people are putting on their faces to make themselves look better. This promotes the idea that people cannot look good without makeup. But this is where feminism comes in and says, if men don't need makeup to look presentable, why must women wear makeup? But then feminism also says women should be allowed to wear makeup, as it could be used as a tool to empower people. This is my second paradox. Makeup puts people down, but it also brings people up. Now for my final paradox. Feminism, once again, is about empowerment. If a woman chooses to stay at home instead of work, you might hear people say, "You are all about feminism, but here you are wasting your time at home instead of working alongside men." All of this may seem so contradicting, and if you were unfamiliar with feminism at the start of my speech, you're probably very confused right now. You see, not every paradox is an endless loop of things that will never be perfectly right. The solution to every single one of these paradoxes is so simple. Choice. That is all you need to give people, And that is what will solve every single one of these paradoxes. Before I was born, my mother used to work. And she was very successful. After my brother was born, she decided to stay at home. This wasn't controversial because as a woman, she was given the choice to choose whether she wanted to stay at home or go to work. This is your first paradox solved. I don't wear makeup very often, but when I do, I look at myself and I feel empowered. It doesn't matter how much or how little I have on my face. If I feel good about myself, why should the next person care? And this is your second paradox solved. You see, you don't have to be labeled a feminist. Not at all. But if you do not believe that people deserve to be treated as equals, you will be labeled a sexist. I'd sincerely like to believe that everyone in this world is born good. And if we see people doing wrong or having a wrong belief, it's not always their fault. Sometimes it's their upbringing or the fact that they just don't know better. There are times where I have caught myself thinking extremely sexist things, like looking at a person and wondering why they have so much makeup on their face. But then seconds later, I remember that they have the choice to choose their appearance, and it is most definitely not my right to ever judge. But it gets me thinking. I am all about being liberal and allowing people to live their most honest lives. But I have these thoughts in my mind that contradict everything that I stand for. Does that make me a bad person? Are we all deep down just bad people? I found the answer to my question on the same day in the form of a beautifully wisdomful Tumblr post. The post read, "The first thought that goes through your mind is what you have been conditioned to think. What you think next defines who you are." We are not bad people for having these thoughts. We are only bad people if we give in to them and act upon them. But this does not mean that people should be allowed to get away with misogyny and misandry. I strongly believe that everybody must be held accountable to their actions if they are aware that they are making them. There are an infinite possible paradoxes that we must face constantly. And this means that there are an infinite possible choices that we must make as well. These choices are the things that define us, the marks we leave, and the people we touch. There is a good and a bad to every paradox. And how we choose to treat our mothers and our sisters and even our brothers matters more than ever right now. We are free to choose, but we are not free from the consequences of our choice. Thank you.